Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Future RN. I'm glad to have you here. So, how do you feel when I say med math? Come back, don't run away. I got you back on this one. We're going to go over today some medication calculation. We're going to review some basic conversion and basic formulas to help you in those exam questions that if you have this fear of math, this technique will definitely help you out. Okay, welcome to Medication Math. We're going to review today basic conversions, basic formula. And here are some of our learning objectives. We're going to have an understanding of medication conversions. We're going to understand how to read medication labels. We're going to review the 5 rights of medication administration. We're going to have an understanding of dosing frequency terms. And we're going to review our basic MedCalc formula and have some practice questions at the end. And again, just like we set objectives for our little session today, I would like you to set objectives every day. And your objectives for this concept is to practice until you hit mastery. Okay? All right. So before we get into our medication calculation, here are some things to keep in mind. When you're rounding, general rounding rules, when you're rounding, you want to round to the nearest hundreds, which is the second decimal place after your whole number, if your answer is less than 1. Okay, and here's an example on the screen, 0.58, 2 spaces after the decimal point. If your answer is 1 or greater, you round to the nearest tenths, which is 1.9 or 1.5. So if you don't have any specific directions in it, for example, a test question, these are the basic general rounding rules you want to keep in mind. Again, when you're rounding, the rule is 5 or above, you add 1, like 0.067 become 0.68, you round up, okay? Always use a leading 0. Before the decimal place, you must add a 0, but never a trailing 0. Okay, so we don't want to use a trailing 0. When we're doing manual gravity, when we're counting drip rates, you always want to round to the whole number. Always relate when you're doing an electric pump, it's going to be in mLs per hour. Okay, and that you can also round to the whole number. And again, remember your 5 rights of medication administration. This is just not just a robotic task. You are dealing with a human behind there. So always remember those rights. Just a review, you want to make sure you have the right patient, verify patient ID, verify it against 2 other things, the patient's bracelet and the patient's chart. You want to make sure you have the right drug. Review the name, make sure the name is the prescribed drug, the right dosage, make sure they're getting the right amount of drug for them at that specific time. So you want to make sure it's given at the right frequency. And you want to make sure it's given at the right route. If it's PO, by mouth, if it's IV, if it's PR, per rectal, you want to verify all those points. And again, some other rights you want to check, you want to make the right assessment. Before you give a blood pressure medication, it's good to take a blood pressure. You want to document, have the right documentation, and you're going to educate your patient, right? To education for the patient who's taking that drug. And always remember the patient has the right to refuse any drug or any procedure. So just keep those things in mind. Let's review dosing frequency. You're going to see these alphabet soup in your orders. So you want to make sure you understand what they mean. QD stands for daily, giving a medication daily, QD. BID, twice a day, 2 times a day, BID. For example, Q6 hours would be every 6 hours it's given, okay? TID is 3 times a day, and we're looking at a full 24-day calendar 3 times a day. Per orum, which is our PO, per oral, QID, 4 times a day. So just remember, some of them are very similar, QD, QID. 4 times a day is QID, and PRN is as needed. Another thing to keep in mind is the urgency of the med. So if you see something as stat versus now, those tell you how fast this thing should be given. Okay, let's look at some common conversions. These are important to know. So these are some conversions you will see in your orders. So it's good to know that 1 cup is 240 mLs. 1 teaspoon is about 5 mLs. And most of the time in medication administration, you're going to be dealing with mLs or cc's. You won't see teaspoons. Those are mostly home or household metrics. But mLs or cc's are what you're going to be dealing with. So know the conversions. 1 tablespoon is about 15 mLs. So it's important to know because this is going to be part of your education. Suppose you're sending a mother home with a new baby and you want to tell them 1 teaspoon, you want them to know how much equivalent that is. 1 ounce is about 30 mLs. And then we have some measurements. 1 inch is about 2.54 centimeters. 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. 1 pound is 0.453 kilograms. 1 milligram is 1,000, 1 liter is 1,000 mLs, and 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So a lot of your conversion is in a ratio of 1 to 1,000. So this is a formula that encompasses all of, well, most of the conversions together. So it's an easy way, a quick way to remember. 30 mLs is to 1 ounce, is to 2 tablespoons, is to 6 teaspoons. Okay, so write this down, and I'll also have a supplement in the description box where you could have access to all of this. 30 mLs equals 1 ounce equals 2 tablespoons equals 6 teaspoons. Okay, so here's an example of how we could use that. So we have 20 mLs and we want to convert it to teaspoons. Okay, so if we use our formula, you kind of could use a ratio. We have 30 mLs is 6 teaspoons. We know that from our mnemonic. And then this is what we need. We need 20 mLs. How many teaspoons is that? So our first step, you're gonna multiply the outer portion of the numbers. So 30 times x, and then you're gonna multiply the inner portion. I don't know if this is bringing back the experiences from elementary school. So, but this is how it's done. So 30x equals 120, 6 times 20, 120. And then you're going to divide 30 on both sides to get x to be by itself. And x is going to be 4 teaspoons. Okay, let's practice one more. Here's our example. We have 5 ounces. We want to know how much that is in mLs or cc's. So we know from our formula 30 to 1 to 2 to 6, 1 ounce is 30 mLs because we're converting ounces into mLs. And then we're looking for 5 ounces. How many mLs is that? 5 is to x. Multiply the outside. So we got to have 1x, and then you're going to multiply the inside. 1x equals 30 times 5 is 150. And then x, this one is the easy one, x equals 150 mLs or cc's. Okay, so just keep this little formula in mind to help you with conversions. So here's our first example. We're going to convert 300 mics. How many milligrams is that? So we know the conversion factor is 1 milligram is 1,000 mics. So you would move the decimal place to the left. So 300 micrograms is 0.3 milligrams. Okay, our next example, 3 grams is how many milligrams? This should be an easy one because it's 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So you multiply it by 1,000. So 3 grams is 3,000 milligrams. 6 liters is how many milliliters? We know the conversion is 1 liter is 1,000 milligrams. So again, you would multiply that by 1,000. Now, 2,500 mLs is how many liters? So this would be going backwards. So you would want to divide it by 1,000. So our answer is 2.5 liters. So here it is. 1 ounce, 2 ounces is how many mLs? Okay, so remember our formula. 30 mLs is 1 ounce. So 2 ounces is 60 mLs. Good. So 3 ounces, how many tablespoons? And you can always pause the video if you want time to work it out. Right, our answer is 6 tablespoons. 12 ounces, how many mLs is that? 12 ounces is 360 mLs. 2 ounces is 12 tablespoons. And then we're going to convert our weight. 150 pounds is how many kilograms? Now, the conversion for that is 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. So if you want an easier way to remember, you look slimmer in kilograms. Okay, so 150 pounds, you would divide that by 2.2 is 68 kilograms. All right, so now let's get into some reading labels. We want to know how to read medication labels so we could give our meds. Okay, so now here's a label. So some key important things to remember in reading medication labels is most meds have brand names and generic names. And when you get into pharm, you're going to see how important the generic name is because it kind of points you to the class of medication. So our brand name is Coreg, as you see listed here. And usually that's the easier name to say, Coreg. And our generic name is Carvedilol, okay? Generic Carvedilol. Our dose, which is how the medication comes, is 6.25. So each pill has 6.25 concentration of the milligrams of concentration of the medication, okay? And the vehicle is how the medication comes. These are in tablets. So that's the vehicle. So what's the brand name? So there is no brand name. This is a generic label. Our generic name is meperidine hydrochloride. Our dose is 50 milligrams in each ml. Each drop, this is a liquid and injectable, each drop is 50 milligrams. And our vehicle, as we could see, it comes in ml, it comes in a liquid form. The brand name for this medication is Demerol. All right, so here's our first basic formula. This is your intro to nursing math, basic formula. Very easy. There are other formulas, but I'm using desired over hand because it's gonna transition very well into our dimensional analysis, which is gonna be our part 2 of this 2-part series. So if you are comfortable with ratio and proportions, please go ahead and use that, but we're gonna be using the basic formula for today. So DHV, desired, basically what the order is, what the doctor wants you to give, over hand, over what you have, over how it comes from the pharmacy, and your vehicle, which is how the medication comes. Okay, tablet, liquid, capsules, whatever you have it. So here's our desired over hand times vehicle. Okay, we'll give you how much to give. So now let's put it all together. So here's our medication label. This is what we got from pharmacy. We have Decadron, 0.25 milligrams. The doctor order, or the physician or the practitioner order Decadron 0.5 milligrams, PO 3 times a day, TID. Okay, so let's use our basic formula, desired over hand times our vehicle. So our desired is 0.5 milligrams, that's the order. What we have on hand is 0.25 milligrams, and our vehicle is 1 tab. So in every tab, there's 0.25. So when you do your division, your answer is 2 tabs. Okay, seem pretty easy, right? So let's practice another one. And again, please feel free to pause the video to give you time to practice. I didn't want to make a 2 hour long video. Okay, so here's our next label. We saw this drug before. This is a beta blocker blood pressure medication, Coreg. And here's our provider order. Coreg, they want you to give 12.5 milligrams PO BID twice a day. So here's the formula we're going to use. Okay, desired 12.5. What we have on hand, how it comes from pharmacy, is 6.25 milligrams. And our vehicle, it comes in tablets. So when we do our division, our answer again is 2 tabs. Okay, but how many mLs is the patient going to receive per day? They're going to receive 2 tabs per dose, but how much do they get per day? So we know it's BIDs twice a day. 12.5 times 2 would give you 25 milligrams for the whole day. Okay, all right, let's do one more practice. Cloxacillin, our order is the provider wants us to give 1 gram per day oral in 4 divided doses. So it's going to be given every 6 hours in 4 divided doses. I want you to notice our medication label. The medication comes in 250 milligrams, but the doctor ordered in grams. So we have 2 different units. So we're definitely going to be using our conversion factor. Okay, so we have 1 gram, which is our desired dose, our desired order, and our on hand is 250 milligrams. So for this, you're going to have to convert grams to milligrams or milligrams to grams. Okay, I would convert it to milligrams because that's what your medication is available in. So when we do that conversion, this is our vehicle, we give in capsules. When we do that conversion, we're going to change the grams to milligrams. So now it's 1,000 milligrams over 250 milligrams. All our units match up. We're going to do a division, and the answer is we're going to give 4 capsules of this medication. All right. So secondary question, how many capsules should you give per dose? Okay. So remember, this is the order was in a daily dosage, but how do we give, how much are we going to give every 6 hours? And the answer is 1 capsule. So it's very important to pay attention to the frequency and to how the order is written. So the order was 1 gram per day in 4 divided doses, but per dose, the frequency is every 6 hours. So the dosage you're going to give per dose is 1 capsule. Here's our next medication. Here's our patient label. Okay, so here's our next med. Here's our medication label. We have Procran, 500 milligrams. That's how it comes. Now the provider ordered 0.5 grams PO every 6 hours. We're going to use a desired overhand. We have 2 units that are different. Our order is 0.5 grams, and the medication comes in milligrams, 500 milligrams. So let's change that into 500 milligrams, which is our conversion equivalent. And when you do the division, the answer is 1 tab. We're going to give 1 tab. Secondary question, how many grams should the patient receive per day? You're getting it every 6 hours. Okay, so you are, there's 4 6 hours in a 24-hour day. So they would receive 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams per day. So here's our demo medication again. So the provider ordered meperidine 35 milligrams IM every 4 to 6 hours as needed. It is a medication for pain. 35 milligrams are desired. And what we have on hand is 50 milligrams, and our vehicle is mLs. Okay, so when we do the units match, we're going to do a basic division, and our answer is 0.7 mLs. Insulin. You're going to be given insulin every day. Here's our provider order. They want regular insulin, 12 units to be given stat right now. Okay, so we're going to use our desired over half. The desire is 12 units, and our availability is 100 units per ml. There's 100 units in every ml. And the answer is 0.12 mLs. Okay, and be sure to grab the appropriate insulin syringe, and you're going to draw it up to 0.12 mLs. Okay, that's equivalent to 12 units. Right? So how was that? That was it. That's all we have for today. But there is more. There will be more practice questions. If you click on the link below, you'll be sent to a Google Drive where you could download some free practice questions. And I want you to look out for part 2, Med Math, Beyond the Basics. Now you learn, you have a good foundation, you have a good groundwork. Now we're going to learn dimensional analysis, which encompass, I highly encourage you to use dimensional analysis method for your med calculations. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share this video. Don't not keep it a secret. We need nurses in our hospitals. Share the video, subscribe so you get notification when we have new videos coming. Please comment, 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 comment. Tell me, please work on a topic, on this topic, and I will gladly try to accommodate you, and press the notification bell.